Hi there, my name is Remy Sharp, and this is like my second revision of workflow. I did a screencast a few months ago about how I'm using DevTools for my workflow to make changes inside of DevTools and how it affects the files on disk. And this is a workflow that I've started using on a couple of mobile projects where I'm using DevTools to do all the changes, and I can see that those are reflected back onto mobile devices without any kind of extra tools. Now, I normally start off with things like JSBin and its remote rendering, where I can just type on the desktop and it'll affect all the mobile phones, but that's really good for prototyping. I'm now at the point where I have quite a bit of my application. I'm just making little tweaks. So I want to show you what I'm doing. So the first thing that you might have spotted already is I've got livereload inserted inside of this page. So my code, the server side, the layout for the code at the bottom of it, it says if the application isn't in production, then include the livereload script. So that means that when it goes to production, it's not included and there's no worries about that. Now, what I've got here is my face here on the character is too big. I want to make some changes. And I have these loaded up on my mobile phone as well. And what I want to show you is just making changes inside of DevTools affect the mobile device as well. So just to start off with, if I just change the display block to display none, hit enter, the first thing that DevTools is asking me is to save over the style.css. Now I think this is because I've been working on this before. DevTools, I think, already knows that my style sheet has been saved to disk, so it's prompting me to save in this new session. So say save, replace the file, and now when we hit refresh, obviously it's stayed. Okay. So what I want to show you is if I go back to that change and also show you my mobile devices, which I have next to me, and if I change it to block and then hit enter, I can see the change on my desktop, but I can also see the change on the mobile devices, which is really handy for making small tweaks and making sure it looks right on the desktop, but also just looking over to the mobile phone and seeing it, seeing the output on there. So in this case, maybe my player is a little bit too high, so I want to change it to -5 rems. Now, if I go back to the mobile devices, you can see that nothing's changed yet. It's only when I hit enter that the refresh tends to happen, or in fact doesn't, like in this case. So the mobile phone didn't refresh, and sometimes DevTools kind of gets out of sync, so if I hit refresh now, I've lost that change. But if I go back and just type -5 rems, hit enter, without doing anything, it's picked it up again. I tend to find that happens when I'm making like cursor key changes. So if I cursor key this down to 20%, it's only when I hit enter that it kind of sticks, and maybe if I go back to 25 and then just kind of blur out of it, see, that's working this time. But I've seen it where sometimes I get a little bit stuck, and it can, like, if you have a suspicion that it's gotten stuck, what I tend to do is go into the style sheet, copy the whole thing, hit refresh, and then paste it back in again. And one other thing I'm coming across is inline styles. So if I create a new style rule that is .player, and I want it to be display none. Now that's affecting my desktop, but it's not affecting my mobile devices because of this, because the style sheet is inline to the inspector. So what I've been doing is clicking on this link and taking the inspector style sheet, just copying it all, cut, save, and then dropping it into the end of my style sheet down here, hit save now, and on the mobile device it automatically vanished because I have that display none, which I can't find anymore, but it is in there. Let's hit refresh. There you go. So if I change out the block, and it's now actually in the style sheet rather than in the inspector style sheet, which is something I kept on being tripped up on. I'd make a full style and then lose it on refresh because it has no place to save it. So hopefully that's useful to some of you. Any comments, leave them in the comments, and thanks for watching. Cheers.